Hi, welcome to Men in God. This is your #1 TV show. It is the show where we inspire men to be driven into their purpose and where we inspire them to leave a godly legacy for the next generation. Today, in our midst, we have the men of God. Men of God, please share with us who are you and what do you do?
Well, thank you so much for being part of the session. My name is Caesar Mathebula. I am a marriage coach, I'm a life coach, and I'm a marriage officer. So I really do a lot of things around families and marriages and counseling, etc. So that's what I do for a living.
Wow, powerful. I hope you understand that the man of God, he says he's all about marriage. Today, marriage is our topic.
That's right.
Because a lot has been said about marriage. People are saying we are broken. So if we say we want to get married, what are we doing? Because we are broken. How can broken people build what we call a stable marriage?
Right.
So, man of God, what is marriage?
Well, before we tackle this big mammoth subject, can I just quickly pray? Is that okay? All right, let's pray together. Father, I just want to thank you so much for this time together between us and the viewers. Father, we know that there is no distance in the spirit and you know exactly what everybody is going through. I just pray that you give us utterance. Holy Spirit, speak through us. So we are just vessels, we are willing to be used by you. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Amen.
Amen.
Yeah. Well, that's a good question, and I think it's a fair question. So I'm married for 15 years. So as a marriage coach and a marriage counselor, there's many things that I've experienced that if I were to try and summarize this question quickly, I might do an injustice. But because as well I am not God, I believe that what I'm going to say must reflect what he says, because here's a final say. He came up with this product. But in my simple summarized version, I can easily say that I believe that marriage is God's divine program through which he seeks to invade planet Earth in order to uproot and to overthrow the current wicked, corrupt, evil world system that is controlling people, that is controlling our lives, running this world. But he wants to launch in his heavenly systems through the institution of marriage. I mean, I can speak about Genesis 1:26, where he said, let's make men in our own image and let them take over, dominate and reign. But the plan here is that God wants to fill the earth with his glory, with his nature, with his character. It's his world. Why can't he do that? But marriage was the first plan in Genesis. So I would say that for me, marriage is that program or a system that God put together and he gave it to man. And he said, man, now I don't need you to fill the earth. You fill the earth. Use this vehicle to fill the earth. But know what it is, what is his purpose, and run with it effectively. It will not fail. So I think today we are at least how many billion? We're about 8.8 billion on earth. And we all started from a couple. And that's God for you right there. So for me, a marriage is a vehicle. Though it has other nice things. I mean, there's sex, there's kids, there's a lot of other nice things. But I think it was just God's program and a system to replenish the earth and to rule and reign. That's as best as I can put it.
Wow, powerful. I hope you understand that marriage, it was ordained by God. Here is a question, man of God. Is marriage for everyone?
I used to wrestle with that question, and I would look at the lesbians, I would look at the gays, I would look at, people who were not born with private parts, people who were born with a lot of deformities. And I would ask myself, so God, I know men are men, they got to have testosterone, and they got to have a male organ. What about those who don't have that stuff? What about those who are castrated? When I look at the Bible, there's different types of people who literally just committed themselves to, I'm not going to get married because of this cause. And then I look at myself, I realize that I don't feel like kissing a guy, and I'm really attracted to women. And I look at the Bible itself in Genesis. God seems to have made marriage the first blueprint for the human race. Then I'll assume that there are things that I don't understand at the moment. Why we have gays, why we have lesbians, and why marriage is the way it is and how it's managed, and how I got attracted to my wife, and I finally, got into it. So is marriage for everyone? Here's my opinion. I believe that God does not force people to marry. Number one, marriage is not a law. God is not saying thou shalt marry, and if you don't, I'm going to get in your business. There's no such a thing. Marriage is a free will. It's almost like choosing to buy a car or continue to taxi until you die. It's an option. But at the same time, I realized that God's design seems to necessitate this system, this product called marriage. I want to say that if a person is a private organ and is a male or female, the biology tells us that those two can work. And it doesn't necessarily mean then, now if you can work that way, then that institute marriage. Because there are many people who are sleeping around but they are not married. Marriage itself is a different vehicle that we will probably have to talk about. Because having sex doesn't mean that you are married. I think that there are people, I'm tempted to say that they were ordained to be married. But at the same time I'm feeling like, maybe not, it's a choice still. Because it comes with certain expectations, certain specs that everybody who gets married need to adhere to. When he says in Genesis, we see when he was talking about with Adam and Eve, he came to a point where he's finished creation, and then he says it's not good for a man to be alone. I never used to understand that scripture properly, but now I've come to understand it, that actually he was not talking about loneliness. He was not saying, hey, you're lonely, look at the animals, who are you going to have sex with? Look, they're all 2 by 2, and Noah is coming with the ark, so look man, you got to be hooked up. No. God was actually explaining something powerful that I just thought, then it was necessary for this thing called marriage. Why? Because God created one earth suit, and he breathed life into that one earth suit. What that earth suit was, it was Adam. It was called Adam. That's the earth suit. But inside Adam was a man, M-A-N, a spirit man, which obviously we know that was God. The two, Adam and the man, became a living soul. Now I know that after that, God did not go back and create Eve, go back and create Caesar, go back and create all the 8 billion people. He just created Adam, and then out of Adam's flesh, he was able to create another earth suit, and then Eve was made. And then he left it at that. He didn't continue to recreate. But for them coming together, then the human race expanded. What am I coming to understand is that when God created man, man is not a gender, and man is not singular, it's plural. Man is a spirit race that was all locked and trapped within Adam. That's why God said, it's now not, the time has come that all the race inside this man must be extracted out of this man. That's why Eve was very critical to come and help as a helper to extract all of us out of the first man. I hope I'm making sense. I'm not saying that this, if maybe your pastor has never talked about this, or this you don't understand, and it can be almost like a doctrinal glitch. But I strongly believe that man is a spirit race, and within man, it was not good for man to remain that way, in that state. God had to create a female so that all those men can be extracted out of the male man, which we know male men are the ones who carry the genes. They carry generations or genealogies, the genes in their testicles. So we know that there are thousands of people, every time spermatozoids are released, there are thousands of people who chase to be the ones who are going to have an identity in the physical realm. But we realize that maybe 1 or 2, sometimes it's triplets, etc., but it's all by God's design. All I know is that man that God infused in the earth suit called Adam, that is a mystery. I can put it that way. So I think that it is important, marriage is important, and it's okay that people should get married, but I think that God needs to get involved in some way or another. I don't think that marriage, everybody should just jump into it. I think I think there needs to be some understanding why. I hope I could explain more, I hope I could say more, but I think there needs to be some divine engagement, which can say maybe not everybody is really designed for this.
Wow, yeah. Powerful. I hope you understand that God is the source. A lot has been said about marriage, but today we are discovering that God, He is the source of marriage. In other words, in life, if you think about getting married, you need to know that there's a God who can help you to understand this powerful institution that is marriage. Men of God, as we are busy discussing and talking about marriage, I want us to address people out there. There are people who are saying, we are broken.
Sure.
And it's a fact that people are going through stuff in life. And many people are concerned that if people are saying, I have to get married, or if I tell myself that I want to get married. So, the concern here it is that people are saying, if I as a male man, I am broken, and I meet this woman,
That's right.
who is broken,
Okay.
how are we going to build a stable marriage? Because
Okay.
both of us, we are broken.
That's
Is there something that is called a stable marriage? Because we are broken on this planet Earth.
Okay. These are very nice questions actually. I like these questions, but I don't want to override God, and I believe that He will censor me, and He will really make sure that people are hearing the truth properly. Here's what I think. What I think is, in my own life's experience, some of the greatest things that I've ever done, I've realized that I've done them out of, it's almost like everybody on earth needs a fall. We all need a fall before we can climb up to higher levels. I'm thinking about a high jump. Every time a high jump athlete comes to jump, they need to drop a bit to gather the momentum to leap higher.
Okay.
And I see a principle there, and I see God using that principle in everything where creation is concerned. One of the things that I can say is, the best teacher is somebody who's got scars. I don't like to follow leaders who don't have scars. I don't want to be around people who don't know what it takes to sleep without food. Or, here you are, just got married in 2 weeks, and you want to start a marriage class or a marriage session. No, give us 20 years. Give us some nice, juicy 20 years of power, pressure, fire, sleepless nights, no sex, whatever. Let's see how far it's gonna go. So it's very critical for me, as far as I'm concerned, that before you can be put together, there's gotta be some breaking down. That's what I'm thinking. And I see God as well in many instances. Before He can use you, He has to break you down, and He will process you. And when He's done with you, you will be exactly when He's done with you. You'll be exactly how He wants you to be. Now, I personally think, for us to do greater things, we have to be processed. And the processing is not nice, because you can actually even lose what we call your identity. Many people are trying to keep their identity, their image, but God can wrap that up so that you can emerge as what He wants you to be. Another thing is that, personally, I think that pain and suffering, they are God's tools to process a soul. To process a soul. So you cannot take a soul and give it a belt, and then it cries and it says, yeah, I'm really, I don't wanna, I'm not gonna do this again and again. But you can cry physically when your father beats you, but then you can fool your father. You can drop you on the floor and cry and roll, and your father can say, now he's hit. We can't beat him. But with God, you can't pull that one. God, when He deals with you, He deals on the inside, and you will be able to orchestrate situations that will process your attitude, process the way you think, your perception. He can be able to get into the hard drive and identify the virus and put it out. What am I talking about here? I'm talking about, can couples who are broken be able to build together? I'm saying yes, they can. They better be processed first, actually. They better, if you marry somebody who has suffered, who has really been through the ditches, when you marry them, the little bit that you give them, they appreciate it, because they've experienced darkness. Somebody has well said that you will never experience light until you've experienced darkness. You will be appreciative of even a little thing. You don't want to complain about everything. So I strongly believe that brokenness is a key to success. There's gotta be that processing. Another point I want to bring quickly is that our inventions on this earth are not built by mistake. Somebody was just walking around. We have beautiful cell phones right now. They all came out of a problem. And therefore, we should not supposed to run away from the problems. Problems are presenting to us opportunities to be creative, to tap into our nature so that we can provide solutions. So if I meet a couple that is totally, they wanted to divorce each other, they are fighting all the time, I know there's a key. In all the drama, there's a key somewhere. And if we can sit down and help them nicely, they'll find that key. And they'll have a testimony to tell millions that, you know what, we beat this thing. This thing is beatable. How will you know that if you didn't go through anything? So I strongly believe that actually it's not about can broken couples build great marriages. I'm saying couples must go through hell. They must go through, well, I don't want to mention hell, that's a different place, but they must go through the fire. They must, look man, they must be processed. When they come on the other side.
Wow, powerful. Thank you, man of God. It is true that God is the only one who is able to change our scars into stars and our pains into gains. But Murut, as we are busy talking about this sensitive topic, I want you to explain this, because we all know that knowledge is power. This is what people are saying. But I strongly believe that knowledge, it is power when it is applied.
That's true.
So we want to now, you Muruti, to explain to us the application part of what you are saying. Because, many couples are reading books, they are listening to preaching.
That's right.
But we want to hear from you, what can they do if they are in that state of brokenness?
Yeah.
A state where they don't know what to do.
It's a good question, but a very challenging question, because you almost like are tapping into the divine, where many times when people are broken, they want to divorce. There's nothing left. Usually they would, one of them would feel it's time to make a call to, a marriage coach or whatever, and they would WhatsApp or ask a friend, is anybody who can help? Because my marriage is finished. There's nothing left. I would say it's great, call somebody. But I would say maybe one thing that one can do, which many are not really key into, would be to really, consult the creator of the universe. Just kneel, just sincerely kneel and just ask God for divine intervention. Because if truly God cannot address your mess, why would you consult a human being who's limited? But now there's another gap where many people have read their Bibles, they've prayed, they've fasted, they've ticked all the boxes, but it still doesn't work. Actually, they've lost confidence in God. They just don't want to admit it, but they've lost confidence that, I don't trust this God, so I'm going to do my own thing and see if I can save myself. It is an unfortunate scenario, because as in the Christendom, God has been presented in a way that is such a powerless God, a confused God. It's like a government. The God we're talking about, he always overpromises, but he underdelivers. And you can't trust him, because even if I can pray about my drinking husband who's cheating me, etc., and say, God, would you want to sort this guy out? The chances I'm going to pray for the next 6 months and the guy will still be stuck in the. We haven't seen God really moving in practically and saying, you don't need a counselor, you don't need a church service. I am here, let me get involved in this thing. So I think that would be the first level, if I would say, consult God and trust that truly, I know you've been around, you prayed. Maybe this, session is for you to know that. Maybe you need to hear what I'm saying. Go back to that very, going on your knees, God, please help me. But pray sincerely. God, you can't fool God. If you're playing games with God, it's not going to go well. Be sincere with God and pour your heart. I believe God will either send angels or would either do something whilst you're asleep. He will do a miracle whilst you're asleep at night. You'll wake up and your husband is totally different. And if God wants you to go outside and get a human container or a human agent, he will tell you, go and consult with so-and-so, I've already made them ready for you. Because there are many liars out there, and you cannot take your marriage, it's already broken. And you're taking it to an agent and you don't even know which kingdom does this agent operate from. So we got to even know which spirit we are going to. Because you can think I'm a marriage coach and you like what I'm saying, but who knows I work for the devil? You just don't know, because you never eyes to see. So I would say that the first thing is consult your creator. And secondly, I believe that God has put men around us to be a voice. So some of those people are very close to you, they're your family. Some of them have been telling you and you're not listening. Some of them are your kids, they've been telling you, you're not listening. Some are the neighbors. So I believe that God will start here and go outward. If you're not listening to your children or your spouse who's been telling you something, that is breaking your marriage. God will use your cousins and you'll go outside until He brings in a prophet from the United States because you are not wanting to hear and prophesy. You pick you just in the middle of everything and tell you. And sometimes God will bring in angels, or He will rock up Himself and talk to you. So I'm not trying to be spiritual or be fuzzy. I believe that there's a way God fixes His products. We are God's products. I cannot fix you. I cannot fix you because we belong to Him. He's the manufacturer. How do I come to guess your 15 years of marriage and try and unless He tells me that so and so is coming, these are the issues I will help you with. So consult your Creator. Don't doubt Him. Consult Him. He will show up.
Wow, powerful. Doubt your doubts, but don't doubt God. Why? Because He is able to change or to transform your mess into a message. So we are saying to you, you men out there, you are struggling. You are asking yourself questions. Why did I meet this devil? And others are saying to you, better the devil you know, but the one you know not. So we are saying to you, trust God. He is able to fix everything. Men of God, as we are about to close, how do I forget words that my wife has said to me? Words like, you are useless. I used to date men who are better than you.
Yeah.
You are rubbish.
That's right.
How can I forget those words? For me to be able to live in this house, in this family, how can I forget such words?
Yeah. Again, very good question, very difficult to answer because everybody's in their different situation. Let me talk about myself. So there's been a number of things that I found myself being labeled, not only in my immediate family, ex-girlfriend and things like that, where I carried a bunch of labels and I started to believe these labels because if something is said to you many times, you start to think maybe they are right, and you forget about how God defines you. Because actually I can't see God, I can't hug God, and I can't see Him. So because of my five senses, I can easily disconnect with God and say, I believe the one I can see than the one who's somewhere in the sky. So that can have impact on you, where you grow up in an environment where certain things are being said, because you think these people can see your behavior, therefore they are right. How can they say you're lazy and you're not lazy? You're poor or you're going to amount to nothing, and actually your life is not showing that. Now when it's said to you, because we are eternal beings, words are creative. Therefore, Proverbs 18:21, it says that the tongue has power. It's either you believe it or not, you are too late, it's immaterial. We are spirit beings. When you say words are things. They will come through my ear gates and they'll start to form. They want to form or take my spirit or my soul and subject it to what you just said. You are lazy. Suddenly, I started to acquire, almost like I started to behave lazy. And I'm actually not a lazy person. So I want to say that if words have been spoken to you, you can unspeak those words. You can use your very same mouth and deny those words and actually renounce or declare or confess that I refuse to accept what you just said. I am none of that. But it will be a problem if you yourself don't know who you are not familiar with the true image of yourself. So people can easily be defined because they don't actually know who you are. But you can't define me because I'm already defined. You can't touch me. You can come and say I'm black, I'm a loser, I'm this and that. You're wasting your time. I'm just looking at your ignorance. Why? Because you don't know who I am. How do you define eternity? I'm eternity. I'm an eternal being, timeless, have no gender. You're looking at this, you want to define me because of one thing I'm doing now temporarily. So what I said, I still said to my wife, we can't judge a spouse who is jobless and doesn't contribute in a family right now because of what we see right now. What if this spouse is a president in the making? What's going to happen in the next 3 years? Now this spouse is owning businesses because God's time has reached its fullness. Now he's a multimillionaire. Are you going to come and apologize and take those labels? So many people say things or define people because of their own ignorance. But if they're to know who they are, you'll never call a creation created by God and label it away from what it is. You cannot stand before eternity and say you're useless, you're limited. It basically says you're the one who's ignorant. So people take offense because they don't know that actually the person I should be praying for is the one who's busy telling me that I'm useless. Why? You cannot tell God is useless. I am created in the image of God. I'm an individuation of God. I am an extension of Him. I'm not something different from Him. I am Him. You're looking at me, you're looking at who God is. How do you dare come and tell God you are lazy? Yes, my brain might be misfiring, because I don't have a degree or whatever. But degree does not define who I am. And the presence of money in my bank account has nothing to do with who I am. Because if divine order kicks in, it doesn't matter whether I have a degree or not. It's time. And that's it. So when we get married, we forget about all those things and we chase all that which the world defines as success. But what is success really? I mean, that's another subject. But I think that one can renounce those labels and you can disbelieve those labels, but you need the divine way, because this is a divine eraser. This doesn't deal with what people put on you. It deals with your memory banks. It says in Hebrews 4:12, the word of God is living and active. It is a trace program. It gets into your eye gates and it goes like little Batman. It goes in and it starts to eat all these unbeliefs, all these doubts, anything about that is not of God. 2 Corinthians 4:10. It says we use the word of God to hold captive all these labels, all these thoughts that are negative, that don't define who we are. Let me just stop there. I mean, I can go very far, but we can rewrite the script. But this is the reprogramming device. I'll put it that way.
Wow.
Yeah.
Powerful. This is Men in God. We inspire men to be driven into their purpose. To you today, men out there, never lose hope. There's a God who is able. And this God is able to do above, abundantly, exceedingly, things that we can think or imagine according to the power that works in us. As we are closing the show, men of God, if people want to connect with you, how can they find you?
Okay, first off, it's important for you to understand that you're not watching this short clip by default. It is by divine appointment. Nothing happens under the sun by mistake. So your first place of contact is the very program you're watching at. Alright, if you want to look for me, find me in this program. Yes, you can reach me directly. Okay, my number is 072-139-4918. I have an email. You can send me an email. Why don't we do this? Everything that you need about me, contact this program, WhatsApp this program, email this program. They will give you all the details about me. Let's make this program our entry point. I'm in this program. So if you're looking for me, get into this program. Let's talk more.
Wow, powerful. Get into this program. Let's talk more. This is DaveytonTV. We are doing it ourselves. So we love you. May God bless you. Shalom.
Amen.